Good afternoon, children. Okay. So now we are going to do few more questions from the part relations and functions. Relations and functions. Okay. Any doubt you have? Any doubt? Okay, then I think we can start with the next one. Before we do the next question, see, write down this question. This is an extra question. A is equal to set 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A is equal to set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. R is equal to set of all ordered pair AB, where modulus of A minus B is divisible by 2. R is equal to set of all ordered pair AB, where A minus B is divisible by 2. Is R an equivalence relation? Is R an equivalence relation? Is R an equivalence relation? Whether R will be an equivalence relation? Is R an equivalence relation? It's not over. Also find equivalence class 1. Find equivalence class 1. Okay, whenever it is given like this, modulus of A minus B is divisible by 2 or divisible by 4. I have told you, you learn one general method. What is the method? Okay, what is the proof we have learned? What is A minus A? A minus A is 0, isn't it? 0 is always divisible by 2. Therefore, an element will be related to itself. Therefore, A comma A belongs to R. Okay, yes or no? Now take the next case. Suppose A comma B belongs to R. That implies A minus B is 2m. Therefore, what is B minus A? B minus A also can be written as 2 into some integer. 2 into minus m, that is same as 2n. So if A minus B is an integer, surely B minus B is also, okay, it is an even multiple. A minus B is a multiple of 2 means surely B minus A will be also a multiple of 2. Therefore, B comma A belongs to R. Okay, can learn the general proof. Okay, if it is 2, you can write this as 2. If it is by 4, method is same. It is multiple of 4 or divisible by 4. The same steps only we have tried. And look at the next case. Transitivity. So therefore, A comma B belongs to R implies B comma A belongs to R means it is symmetric, isn't it? Therefore, R is symmetric. Now, what about transitivity? A comma B belongs to R. B comma C belongs to R. You have to prove AC belongs to R. AB belongs to R means A minus B is a multiple of 2, isn't it? B comma C belongs to R means B minus C is a multiple of 2. So we want, okay, if you add these two, what happens? We get A minus C. Or you can start with modulus of A minus C, which is equal to A minus B plus B minus C, which is equivalent to modulus of 2m plus 2n, which is again a multiple of 2. So which is transitive. Therefore, it is an equivalence relation. Therefore, it is an equivalence relation. Therefore, it is an equivalence relation. Okay. The same method you can do it when if it is divisible by 4. Only the number you have to change. Steps and all will be same. Sometimes, okay, this if the set also changes, you can write everything. Now, look at this question. Equivalence class 1. What is meant by equivalence class 1? What is meant by equivalence class 1? Yes. Yes. Odd number. Yes. Equivalence class 1 means yes. When you take divisible by 2, it is okay. That means the step, okay, that means when you divide by 2, the remainder must be 1. That is what. Okay. When you divide by 2, we should get remainder as 1. So we are given with the set A is equal to set 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what will be equivalence class 1? We should get the remainder 1. That means it will be 1, 3, 5. It will be 1, 3, and 5. What will be equivalence class 0? Equivalence class 0 means when you divide by 2, the remainder must be 0. What is equivalence class 0? That means all the elements related to 0. Okay, if you want, we can define like this. Equivalence class 1 means, okay, set of all elements related to 1. Okay, A minus B is multiple of 2 means here also we can write A minus B belongs to R. That means modulus of A minus 1 is a multiple of 2. When you subtract it 1, you should get it as a multiple of 2. Similarly here, equivalence class 0 means multiple of, okay, when you subtract 0, it must be a multiple of 2. That means you'll get 2, 4, 6. Okay, when you divide by 2, we will get only 2 equivalence classes, equivalence class 1 and equivalence class 2. Will not, okay, equivalence class 1 and equivalence class 0. When you divide by 2, the possible equivalence classes are equivalence class 1 and 0. When you divide by 3, what are the possible equivalence classes? When you divide by 3, what are the possible equivalence classes? When you divide by 3, what are the possible equivalence classes, children? Yes, Dia, tell me, Dia. What are the possible reminders? When you divide a number by 3, what are the possible reminders you will get?
1,
1,
0,
0,
2,
2. 1, 0, and 2. So we will get 3 equivalence classes. Equivalence class 0 or equivalence class 1 or equivalence class 2. When you divide by 3, you will get only 3 equivalence class. When you divide by 4, what are the possible equivalence classes you will get? 0, 1, 2, up to 3. When you divide a number by 3, the maximum remainder you will get is 2. Yes or no? That one we are learning in 10th standard, Euclid's. When you divide a number by n, the maximum remainder will be 0 to r minus 1. Same way, when you divide a number by 3, you'll get 0, 1, 2. Up to that only you get. Okay. So now look at this here. Look at this. When we divide by 2, the possible reminders are, okay, you get 0 and 1. So we can define equivalence class 1 and equivalence class 0. Now look at here. What is the intersection here? What is the intersection? Is there anything common? Is there anything common? No, isn't it? And what about its union? It will be the whole set. Its union will be the whole set. Okay, if it is like this, then we can say the equivalence class forms a partition. It forms a partition. You can say that equivalence class forms a partition. Okay, it is empty if there is no element in common, and if you take the union, you will get the whole set. Then we can say it forms a partition. Yes.
Can you explain a question in the PDF that we sent yesterday?
Which one?
Ma'am, yesterday you had posted a PDF, right, of a
Ah,
book.
ah,
In that, the second question, maximum number of equivalence relations on the set 2, 3, 4.
ah,
That,
maximum. Hmm. Okay. We are going to do a similar question soon. Okay. Hmm. Not that same number. Numbers will change. Okay, for that and all, there is no particular formula. You have to solve, you have to think it and you have to do. Okay, in such cases. Okay, now is it over? Write the next question. Find the number of equivalence relations in the set. Find the number of equivalence relations in the set. One, two, three. Okay, in the set 1, 2, 3, containing 1, 2, and 2, 1. Containing 1, 2, and 2, 1. Find the number of equivalence relations in the set 1, 2, 3, containing 1, 2, and 2, 1. The equivalence relation means what we want. It should be reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. So how many relations we can find? Okay, so listen all of you. If 3 elements are given, the first one is, you can write like this, isn't it? If first of all, it should be reflexive, means 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3 should be there. Now, if I write only these 3 elements, is it an equivalence relation? It is reflexive. Is it transitive?
no.
Is it transitive? 2, 2 is there, means if you, yes or no? Is it symmetric? Is it symmetric? Is it symmetric or not? 2, 2 is there if you reverse it, whether 2, 2 is there. What about transitivity? Yes, it is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. So this is an equivalence relation. Now, what is the next one asked here? But here, what is asked? Along with, okay, what is the possible numbers? How many ways you can set, including these 2 elements, 1, 2, and 2, 1. Now, if I have included 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 2, 1. Okay, look at the question. Read the question again. The number of equivalence relations in the set 1, 2, 3 containing 1, 2, and 2, 1. Our equivalence relations should contain these 2 elements. Now check whether it is reflexive. Is it reflexive? Yes or no? Is it symmetric? Is it symmetric? Is it transitive? Is it transitive or not? Yes. Is or no? If you put these 2 elements 1, 2, and 2, 1. So this is one way you can write. What is the next one? What is, okay, including 1, 2, and 2, 1, how many equivalence relations you can define? Okay, suppose, okay, I add the next one. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 2, 1. Then what are the next possibilities? Total, how many elements will be there? 3 by 3 will get 9, isn't it? Total, there should be 9 elements. So which are the other elements left out? It is 2, 3, 3, 2, then 1, 3, 3, 1. These are the 4 elements left out. Is or no? These are the 4 elements left out. Okay. Now suppose I include 2, 3. Suppose you include any one of the elements, 2, 3. Now, will it be reflexive, symmetric, and transitive? Suppose you include. So now these 4 elements are left out. Total, there are 9 elements. You take one element and substitute it and check. Is it reflexive and symmetric and transitive? If I include 2, 3, will it become reflexive? Yes. Is it symmetric? Will it be symmetric? If I add any of the element, if I add 1, 3, method is same. If I add 1, 3 also, method will be same. If I include 2, 3, we need which one? 3, 2 is needed to make it a symmetric. Yes or no? Yes or no? Now, will it be transitive? Will it be transitive? Okay, till 1, 2 and 2, 1, we get this as transitive. Now, 2, 3, starting with 3, 2, 3 is there. Then 3, 2, 3, 2 and 2, 1. If you take 3, 2 is there, 2, 1 is there. Whether 3, 1 is there? Whether 3, 1 is there? No, isn't it? Whether 3, 1 is there? No. Then what you will do? We will automatically add 3, 1 to make it as transitive. But when I add 3, 1, what do you have to do? It will violate the law for symmetry. 1, 3 is not there. So then automatically what you will do? You will add 1, 3. So that means we write all the elements. So this is the second way. So what is the total number of cases? It is 2 ways. Is it clear? So like this, you have to check it and you have to write down. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 is there and 2, 1 is there means how many? Now, what is the number of equivalence relations? Answer is 2 equivalence relations. Okay, write the next question, children. Next one, the function f from R to R. The function f from R to R given by f of x is equal to x minus 1 into x minus 2 into x minus 3. X minus 1 into x minus 2 into x minus 3. Is it a bijection or not? Is it a bijection or not? What is your answer? What is the answer, children? Is it 1, 1? Will it be 1, 1? What is the answer? Will it be 1, 1, children? Will it be 1, 1? Dia?
Yes.
It's not 1, 1. Why? What is f of 1? Will it become 0? Yesterday we learned partial fractions. We made put x is 1. These are linear factors. Is or no? When you put x is 1, it will become 0. What is f of 2? Will it become 0? f of 3, will it become 0? Yes or no? So it is not 1, 1. It is on to, okay, because it is from R to R. If you put some values, accordingly, you will get some real values there. So it is on to, but it is not 1, 1. Okay, note down this function. It is x minus 1 into x minus 2 into x minus 3. It is not 1, 1, but it is on to.
Ma'am,
Yes.
is there any methods of proving it is onto, or we should like think and understand?
Either you can think and understand, or what you can do, f of x is equal to y. We have learned one lengthy method there. Huh? Put f of x, you open it, you will get a cubic polynomial is equal to y. Finding the roots we have not learned. If it is quadratic, we learn one, we have one formula, quadratic formula, but cubic, there is no formula till, okay, we have not learned. Okay, we have not yet learned. So we are not going with that method. Just you check the values, because here it is real. Accordingly, cube root will exist for all the real numbers. Only for the square root, we say square root will not exist for negative. But for cube root, for the positive also we can take. For the decimals also we can take. For the negative numbers also we can take cube root. So it will be on to.
Okay.
Now write the next one. Next one. This was again an important question. Important, not important. It is a different question. That is why. Okay. F is a function from closed interval 0 to pi to R, defined by f of x is equal to cos x. F of x is equal to cos x. Is it 1, 1 on 2? You have to check. Okay, these are the options given. 1, 1, B is on 2, C is many to 1, D none of these. D is none of these. A is 1, 1, B on 2, C many to 1, C none of these.
Ma'am, 0,
0 to pi. 0 to pi. Okay, listen children. Here, okay, here actually this method will be given when you go for entrance exam and all. That method only I'm going to suggest it, because otherwise it will be, you'll be getting confused when you apply the values and all. Okay, here, what about the graph of cos x? Cos 0, we know that it is 1. Is or no? Suppose this is 1. And here it is pi. Cos 90, it will become 0. Okay, so the curve will come like this. Then it will go. Okay, and again at what? Okay, so what next value? Cos pi, it will become, what is the value we'll get? It is minus 1. Okay, now from the graph, you can check. Is it 1, 1? Different values of x, is it having different values of y? You take different values of x. Are you getting any say? Okay, are you getting different values?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that means it is 1, 1. Otherwise, what is the easy way? You draw a line parallel to x-axis. You fix one y value. You fix one y value. Okay, up to this only we can draw, because it is given 0 to pi. We can't extend. Usually cos curve means we draw like this. But here we draw only up to 0 to pi, because here it is given up to range, domain is given 0 to pi. So we draw only up to this. Now what you can do, what is the easy way? You draw a line parallel to x-axis. Check how many points the curve is cutting, the x-axis. At how many points the curve cuts the curve, this line, check whether the line cuts the line cuts the curve at how many points? It cuts at only 1 point. If it cuts at only 1 point, it will be 1, 1, because we have fixed one y value. Look at here, we fixed one y value. If it is like this, suppose imagine the curve, suppose we take up to 2 pi. If it is up to 2 pi means what you will get? Cos pi will be cos pi minus 1, then 90, then you will get cos 2 pi is 1. Okay, if it is like this, if you draw a line, what happens? For one particular value itself, we are getting two distinct. Okay, so it is cutting the curve at 2 points. In that case, what you can say? It is not 1, 1. From the graph, you can find like this. For checking 1, 1, the easy way is you draw a line parallel to x-axis. Okay, if you draw a line parallel to x-axis, if it cuts the curve at 1 point, it is 1, 1. If it cuts the curve at more than 1 point, it is not 1, 1. Okay, now I will give another work. You find out. For onto also there is an easy method like this. Find out and come. Okay. That one you find it with an example. Give it an example. For x-axis, what we do? We draw a line parallel. Okay, if it is, we draw a line parallel to x-axis, and if it cuts the curve at only 1 point, then we say it is 1. Okay, you can check this with any other curve. If you take a parabola, you shape the parabola. If you cut this, okay, it is not 1. Like that, you can check. If it is a straight line, linear curve, if you draw a line, surely it will cut at 1 point. So that is why we say linear is 1, 1. Along with that, you have to check the domain and okay. One you can check like this, drawing the curve, and you can check at how many points it cuts. From that you can give. Okay. Now look at the next one.
Ma'am,
Yeah, yes.
so answer is A, right?
Yes.
Ma'am, answer is A, right?
Yeah, yes, yes. It is 1, 1. Now, the function f from R to R given by f of x is equal to 1 by x. Is it 1, 1 and on 2? What is your answer? F is 1, 1 and on 2. What is the answer? F from R to R given by f of x is equal to 1 by x. Is it 1, 1 and on 2? Will it be a function first of all? Are you thinking more about that? Will it be a function? What is f of 0? It's not defined. Okay, the function is not defined at 0. So we can't say it is the function itself, we are not able to define at all values. Okay, suppose if it is like this, r minus 0, here also r minus 0 means it will become 1, 1 and on 2. Okay, from all, okay, real numbers minus 0. Why? 1 by 0 becomes infinity, which is not defined. Write the next one. Write the next question, children. A is equal to set 1, 2, 3. R is defined as 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 1, 3. 1, 3. Okay. Find the ordered pair. Find the ordered pair to be added to make R. Find the ordered pair to be added to make R as a smallest equivalence relation. To make R a smallest equivalence relation. Yes. What is the answer? Earlier we discussed one question, similar question only. This is a similar to that one. What is the answer? Which is the order pair you have to add? 1, 3 is there. So in order to make it symmetric, which one we have to add? 3, 1 is to be added. Is or no? Now will it become symmetric? That is possible. Okay. So how many elements we have to add? We have to add only one element to make it as equivalence relation. Okay, minimum equivalence relation. Right, the next one. A is equal to set 1, 2, 3. A is equal to the same set 1, 2, 3. Okay. In your textbook, children, in your textbook, you have similar questions. Okay, I think in miscellaneous exercise, what is the minimum number of relations and all like that questions are there. Go through it, mark it, bucket that and all standard answers. Okay, it will not change. Similar questions. Okay. Write the question. Okay, whenever the set is changed, 1, 2, 3. So instead of 1, 2, 3, they will give 2, 3, 4. Only the elements will change. Answers will not change. Okay, for that type, always the answer will be like that. Now write the next one. A is equal to set 1, 2, 3. Then the number of relations. Then the number of relations containing 1, 2 and 1, 3. Then the number of relations containing 1, 2 and 1, 3. The number of relations containing 1, 2 and 1, 3. So that the relation is reflexive. The relation is reflexive, symmetric, but not transitive. But not transitive. It should be reflexive. It must be symmetric, but not transitive. Is the option given like this: 1, B2, C3, D is 4. The minimum number of ordered pairs to be added. A is this. R is given. Find the minimum number of ordered pairs to be added. Find the minimum number of ordered pairs to be added so that the relation will become reflexive, symmetric, but not transitive.